Hi, Mona. Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Alhamdulillah. All is well.
How many are we?
I don't know. It depends who shows up. There are 40 people on the list, and a reminder has been sent. So it depends when they come in.
Okay. How have you been doing?
As a One is Ontario as a self-development tool, how to use it for self-development, and what does the
Yes.
journey of the fool mean. And then the second one is how to design your own tarot based on flowers. So it's just pictures of flowers and what they mean and the interpretation. The third one is on how to develop your psychic ability. Uh,
Yes.
and the fourth one is it's called the Tarot Bible. So it's like a huge book on the tarot, everything, history, spreads, healing, everything. And then the fifth one I've just finished is called Chakra Healing.
Yeah.
And there's one more on numerology and one more on dream interpretation, which is going to be like a really big book, like a Bible on dreams, hopefully. So
Wow.
I'm really excited. Yeah.
But you said last time when we met, you said the dream is don't go and look it up on internet because everything is different for everybody,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. 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 There are some universal symbols, if you like, but the way your brain makes up the dream is based
Is
on your dictionary of symbols. So that mean something to you, whether good or bad, you weave a story around them because your brain is trying to tell you something. So you can tell a little bit if you look on the internet, but really the interpretation is more meaningful if you learn how to decipher your own dictionary.
Yeah.
Your codes of dreams, then the dream is relevant to you. And that way you bridge your unconscious with the conscious. I mean, that's the whole point of awareness, is to make the unconscious conscious, and
Right.
dream are a great way of doing that.
Okay. And you said you mentioned write down.
Write them down, yeah, every day, whatever you remember, whatever you get. And the more you write, the more you begin to remember. So you'll have the whole story. The more your unconscious is engaged with your conscious, so your brain knows, I really want to know what's going on. And then the more that opens up.
And
But
so,
if you,
what does it mean when somebody doesn't dream
it means that
so much?
your brain is too busy, because we always dream, but we don't always remember. It means that you don't have the intention to remember or work with your dreams. So that, like undercovers, until you write down, then the brain sees, okay, she's serious. She wants to work on her dreams, and it begins to open up. So it's very important that it's intentional. Yeah. A great guide of mine, spiritual guide, said, um, consciousness can only change with the application of consciousness. So in other words, you need to be aware of what you're doing,
Hmm.
otherwise
Hmm.
nothing changes. So you have to get a pen, you have to get a journal, you have to write the question down, you have to put the date down, you have to tell yourself, I'm tracking my awareness or my progress, and you will start remembering dreams. But I also learned a lot of techniques from the Silva method, Jose Silva.
Hmm. Hmm.
Really amazing. It's like you drink half a glass of water before you go to bed. And you say, when I drink the remaining half in the morning, I will remember my dream. And like really within 3 days, I started remembering my dreams. So you need to kind of put pegs in your mind to tell your mind to put the order in, if you like. And then the program starts to work that way. But it's not hard, really.
Yeah.
And you relax and you breathe, and you have a few moments by yourself, before you go to bed, so that the brain can like switch wavelengths, and it will help you. So just like a little bit of work, not too much, but it's really worth it. When I read dreams from 10, 20 years ago, it's absolutely incredible. Sometimes it's about meeting people that I've just met now, and I've written about them in my dreams like 20, 25 years ago.
Yeah. I've done that too. I mean, that happened to me too. And when I wake up, I know this is something meaningful. I don't write it, but I know it's meaningful.
Yeah.
But I don't understand it. But
Yeah.
then down the line, I'm like, oh, I did. Yes, I did. I know exactly what that meant now.
Yeah. And sometimes you have the meaning of the dream in your mind. You understand the essence of it, if you like. Maybe you don't know the parts, but in general, you get an answer to your question.
Yeah.
It's like the knowledge remains, although you may not remember the details.
Yeah.
So it all goes into the consciousness, but it's about making it conscious so that it's useful to you. And then you can use your time when you're asleep to really work with your dreams and sort out a lot of problems. I mean, the big problems I really sleep on, and I let my brain sort it out while I'm asleep. And usually it works.
Yeah. The big problem is what I'm going right now is I put my head down below underneath like a struzzo. What's it called? So I bury my head inside the sand and
Okay.
hope that it'll just go away.
It's true.
No. And then just for a while.
Yeah.
And then I come up and say, okay, now I'm ready.
No, that's important too. It's important to deal with stuff when you can, but it's important that it's not an escape mechanism.
Yeah.
Because I think you get stronger when you face issues, but sometimes it just doesn't feel right. Like, today was not the right day to apply for my application, then I leave it. Yeah.
Right.
But in general, I feel, when you face a problem, it just makes you stronger, and then it gets easier to deal with stuff. Like a lot of people, I remember like in England, used to get a lot of bills and they just keep them in the drawer. I mean, they're not going to pay themselves by themselves. And then it gets really big because you get overwhelmed. That is not very healthy to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a difference, so long as it doesn't go out of extreme.
Sahar, I just came back from a weekend where I was talking about you to a friend, who, and I recommended you, and I was explaining to her how the whole thing about dreaming and how you could really help guide her. And so you would be soon receiving a phone call or.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. What's her name?
Claudia.
Okay. Wonderful.
Claudia. And so, yes, I'm sure that he would be contacting you also because she is very sensitive and receives more than she can deal with. And so I explained to her how you can help with channeling.
Sure.
Or controlling this and knowing how to work with these.
She channels, she writes?
No, and I told her, I said, Sahar was telling me how I should write everything as soon as you wake up, and just write. And she does some of these things, and she does, like, she believes also into the cards and reading cards and things like this. So I think it'll be good for her to talk to you.
Excellent. Because I also do master classes, so she can take like a 2-hour session, and then the dreams.
Three means go. Let's watch you. Oh, where are you going, Rocky?
Hello.
How are you?
Hi, Suzanne. Very good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, tamam. And I thought that it's 9 Beirut time, I thought.
No, Dubai time. So what time do you have now? 7?
It's 8.
Okay. Only 1 hour difference?
Yes.
Okay, Susanna,
How are you?
meet Muna. Muna is from Europe, and we just started. I don't know who else is joining, so it depends. But do you have a question in mind?
Now? No, just I'll listen.
Okay.
And then during the session, I'll ask if you don't mind.
La, I don't mind at all. And how are you in general? You're well?
Alhamdulillah, fine. Everything.
Excellent.
About what are you talking?
We were talking about dreams and how important it is to understand your dreams to work with them, to write them down, to learn the language of your mind, and how working with dreams is a very good way of bridging the unconscious with the conscious. Yani, awareness is defined as making you conscious of whatever you're not aware of. So dreams is the realm of the unconscious. And when you start working with your dream, your brain understands, or your mind understands, okay, she really wants to face things and change them. So for me, it's a very pleasant way, indirect, gentle way of working with my mind so that I can understand what are the issues that I'm going through and why. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course. I'm not putting hijab. Is there anyone?
I don't know. Sometimes we have one gentleman joining, so you can come on camera and then block it as soon as he comes in, if he's coming in. I don't know. I just have a feeling that we're not going to be very many today. I don't know why. Maybe it's a busy weekend. It's back to school weekend here in Dubai.
Tomorrow, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe everyone is busy getting their children ready for school. I don't know.
Yes.
So you're not taping this time, Sahar?
I am taping it. I may not publish it or publish it. It depends on what we talk about. But I will send you the recording in either cases.
Okay, I want to ask you something.
طب خليني أشوفك Suzanne, and then we
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, okay.
Finally, I met Suzanne during lockdown on Instagram, so we never saw each other.
Okay.
We were always chatting. Bravo, well done for you and all the changes that you made. Okay, Sally, what's on your mind?
Okay, I just want to ask you, I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to ask you a personal question about me and my husband.
Sure. What's your question?
That he's losing weight, and he reached a stage that when I look at him, he's shown that he's smaller than me, not suiting me, and this is teasing me. He's losing weight a lot.
He is teasing you, ولا أنت you are being triggered by it?
Yes, I'm triggered. His look is triggering me that he's not suiting me.
Why? If he looks better, if he's healthier, why would that bother you?
But he's very thin now. He's in my my height is 171. I'm 72. He's 70. I'm 72 and he's 70.
It's okay. Where's the problem? I want to tell you a story. My uncle was 1 foot shorter than his wife, probably. My sister is maybe half a foot taller than her husband. These things on the outside, they don't really matter. Yeah, we're talking about unboxing and awareness. You need to be aware of the essence of why you are with this man. Why is he your partner? But for me, from my perspective, if my partner, my husband, is getting healthier, losing weight, looking better, it means that we can continue the journey together. So it shouldn't really bother you. But I want to tell you a story. I had a friend in England, fantastic teacher, actually. I learned the art of dream interpretation from her. She had a son who was about 14 years old, but he was 9 years old height. Yeah, so he was really shorter than his class. And she wanted to talk to him, not to be embarrassed about it. And she wanted to make sure, is he okay with it? So she said, are you okay, with being shorter than everyone else in the class? And he said, I thought about it. He said, something can either be a problem or not a problem. If it is a problem, it's either my problem or their problem. If it is their problem, then it's not my problem and I don't care. So why are you making it your problem? If he's looking better, if he's losing weight, if everything is good, who's going to judge you but you?
I'm feeling, I heard it from my mom. My mom affected me negatively.
Okay, stop. So you already know the answer. Your mom affects you negatively. Your mom says that you don't look like you suit your husband. Is your mom married to your husband?
No, but the story.
So if you make it your problem, it will be a problem. I would say, thank God he's healthy. I assume he's healthy. Do a blood test. If he's healthy, nothing is wrong, then why should it bother them? And you know that this is how people have control over you. By saying something that affects you, makes you feel bad. It means you don't have boundaries. It means you're giving your power away. So stop doing it.
My mom. She's my mom. Yani
Did your mom ask your opinion about the man she's going to marry? Did she ever ask you, do I look like I fit my husband or not? She lived her life her way. So why do you allow her to live her life through you? You're responsible to live your own life your own way. So what is Susanna doing? She's inviting her family to interfere in her marriage just because her husband lost weight. How does that sound?
But كمان when I look at him, I feel that.
How does that sound? When I tell you, my mom makes me feel bad because she's commenting on my husband, whom I love, I'm with, I have children with, and she makes me feel bad because we don't look good together. How does that sound?
You know that the mother and the father affect the child a lot. Am I right?
First of all, okay, stop. First of all, you're not a child. You're an adult. So when you're a child, listen to me. When you're a child, you don't know right from wrong. You don't have a well-developed intellect. And yes, parents can affect you negatively. So when you're an adult and you allow your mom to interfere and to affect you negatively, the problem is yours, not hers. And if you joined us before, I always give this as an example. Life is like driving. When you're driving, you're not responsible for how other people drive. You're only responsible for how you drive and to get yourself safely to where you want to go. But you don't get out of your car and you start lecturing people on their driving. So I don't care how your mom drives her life, but I care about you because you're the one who's here. So if you have a problem with mom because she interferes, even though she's your mom, she has no right to interfere with personal things that have got to do with your husband. It's not even to do with her. So this is where boundaries come into place. And as an adult, you live your life. And if you're happy with him and the whole family is happy, then don't let her interfere. I don't care who she is.
I'm not happy with him. I love him that he's,
That's a separate problem, okay? But you don't add this problem on another problem. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Just because she's saying you don't look good together, you don't start thinking, oh my God, I can't stand him, I want to leave him. Because that's not the problem. His weight is not the problem.
Yes, I know.
So separate problems. Whatever it is that you're unhappy with your husband about, you need to talk about it. Yeah, I want to see if somebody else has a question, but we'll come back to you if we have time, if we don't have any more people tonight. But separate the problems. Do you see what you did here? You linked so many things together, and this is called a constellation. So to your mind, your situation seems so huge because you have linked all these problems that are not really linked. So start separating problems, deal with each one separately, and gradually make a progress forward. But don't add this on top of that, because then you would lose track of what is the real problem. Because the right solution to the wrong problem is not a solution. So you don't tell him, go and put on weight because my mom is unhappy and I am unhappy with you. You don't do that. Okay?
Okay. I understand.
Okay, I just want to say hello to Katie. If you have any question, unmute and ask, or I don't know, raise your hand or chat or whatever you want to do. If you don't,
hello.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. Do you have any question in mind? We were just chatting.
I actually don't. I just wanted to hop on and say hi, and maybe something will come here as I'm sitting.
Well,
but I don't have any questions.
We don't have an agenda. This is just to help you guys and to thank everybody and my clients for being with me for like the last 30 years. Mona is in Europe. Susanna is in Lebanon. I don't know where you're calling from this evening, but you can tell us.
I'm here in upstate New York.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. So thank you for taking time out. We were just discussing dreams. We were discussing awareness. What is awareness? And Mona and I started talking about dreams. And I said dreams is a very good way of working with your unconscious, because the dreams are a language made up by your mind. And when you work with your dreams, excuse me, it tells your mind that I want to open up, I want to understand the patterns that are unconscious to me. And then we moved to Susanna, where she started linking a lot of problems she's going through. And I said, don't do that, because most of us do that anyway. This is how our brain works. It puts things together, it puts fragments together, and then we think, oh, this is a huge, big problem, and then we can't solve it. So the original problem was to do with boundaries and not letting other people interfere in her life. But then she unconsciously used that to kind of talk about problems between her and her partner. And I said, you don't do that. You separate the problems. You're not responsible for how other people drive their cars. Because for me, life is like driving. You're supposed to perfect your own skills and deal with life rather than blame your issues and problems on other people. So if something is a problem, if it's your problem, then you deal with it. If it's not your problem, then it's somebody else's problem, then don't even go there. And this is actually a very important point, people. A lot of, especially women, ask me, like, how does he feel about me? How does he think about me? I don't know, and I don't care. What I care about is the kind of relationship you're getting, or the way that you're being treated, because people's minds are a very messy place. So you just assume and accept it is for what it is, but you are half of the equation. If you can change what you can about yourself, then do that. But don't go and start assuming, do they like me or not like me? Do they love me or not love me? Because you should like you. You should love you. You should not give your power away to other people. You know, like, I don't exist unless they love me. That's not very healthy. And the whole point of unboxing is to really accept who you are, to stop rejecting what you don't like about yourself. And this, when you turn it inside that way, this is what's empowering. And then we truly say what we mean what we say, and we begin to live the kind of life that we want, without, to use your analogy, we're not putting our head in the sand and hoping that everything is okay. No, really, because I think it's more empowering when you know that I am in charge. You know, when I make a mistake, I tell myself, great, I effed up, but I can do it because I did it. I can undo it. Do you see what I mean? And I find that very empowering, as opposed to say, well, she made me do it, or what he said made me say that. That means you're not consciously in command of your mind, of your words, of your communication, of anything. So why are we giving that power away? And this is why we get stuck, because we think we don't have the answers. We think it's not our fault. And this is when you lose track of how to drive yourself forward in a right, safe, enjoyable way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
Sahar, can I, like, tonight, can I ask, and you let me know if this is okay with you? Can I ask you to kind of, can I tap into your psychic talents?
Sure.
And like, if I give you my date of birth, can you do a reading for me?
Sure.
More
from the... Yeah, give me a question.
From your psychic, whatever you're receiving.
I understand, but the point is to help you get unstuck, not to just give you a reading. As I said, it's how you can manage yourself, right? Which is the reason why I moved into mentoring, because I was giving enough fantastic readings to people, but if you don't do what you need to do, then nothing will happen.
Okay.
So you just tell me what's on your mind and give me your date of birth.
So date of birth is 23/08/68.
Okay. And
happy birthday. Had a birthday.
Oh, wow. That yesterday or when? Where are we? Yes. Okay. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
And what's your question, Mona?
My question is, I'm sensing that was a terrible birthday. No, but what I'm sensing is that
you had a terrible birthday.
Something really, really big happened on that same day, and I couldn't reschedule it. So anyway, my question is, I'm sensing, I know that I am at a point where it's
you are. This is
I'm closing something.
And start something new. Yeah.
But I don't know what I'm starting. I know I am a very positive person. And so I know that if it closes, something else is opening.
Looking at your numbers, your number is number 1.
Yeah.
Your soul number, destiny number, it's actually a 10, but 1 and 0 is 1.
Yeah.
So when a number has a 0 in front of it, it amplifies the qualities of that number. And your personal year, which started from your date of birth, is also a year of 10, 1 and 0 and 1. So everything is amplified. And everything is amplified so that you can see the patterns clearly. And the patterns, as you reflect on them, will kind of tell you which way the carpet is unrolling in front of you. So it is a huge, big change, but it's a vertical change. So you're moving into a different level. So the 1 becomes a 10. So you're moving upwards. It's about up-leveling, for the lack of a better word. It's about revisiting the past to learn from it so that you can modify things and create a better next 10 years to come, or however, 9 years, moving from 1 to 9. So this year, a lot of sensitivity. I bet you were extremely moody, going up and down. I bet it was very dramatic because your central number, your month is 8, and 8 is the karmic number. It's the number of balance, meaning the scales can tip either way because 8 is very sensitive. But the upside of being an 8 at your core essence is that if anything goes wrong, you will know immediately. So if things are really bad, if you take the right action in the opposite direction of what got you here, you will immediately gain your balance. Mm-hmm. But the decisions and the reflections need to be done from the heart, from the 4th chakra, not from the personality, not from the ego, not from a place of hurt, but really for the place of the love of you, okay, why did this happen to Mona? What about it? What is it that I need to modify, revise, amplify, or modify in my life? So I would say this is a year of sensitivity, modification, reflection, taking the right decision that would make you happier from here, literally from your heart. It is also a year of writing for you. There's a lot of writing, a lot of communication. You do need a degree of rhythm. What's missing about you is rhythm. It's kind of having, if your life was a piece of music, it's a fantastic sheet of music, but I don't know what it sounds like because there's no timing, there's no rhythm. So rhythm is the energetic structure that allows us to manifest. It's the mold that holds what we want to materialize in our life, right? So you need rhythm, like I get up at the same time. I mean, more or less, I go to sleep at the same time. I do laundry on Tuesday. I go out to the beach on Fridays. I see my friends on Thursday. I don't know. There's no rhythm.
I can't stand that.
I'm not saying routine. I'm saying rhythm. So the rhythm is like the legs to the tabletop so that your life keeps moving. It's like the tracks of a train. You have to put tracks. It's okay to be in the now, but you also need the vision long term. What am I going to do next week, next month, next year? I don't pick up a rhythm. So the structure is not about, like, for most people, structure, which is number 4, which is where you are now. It's about like storage, decluttering, blah, blah. Yours is on a higher level. It's to do with having a rhythm to life, that automatically things happen because you've programmed them that way. Does that make sense? So I'm not talking about a routine that binds you. I'm talking about you. Who are you? What is the expression of your life? Read a new book once a month, watch a new lecture once a week, learn a new language once a year. I don't know. I don't detect a rhythm, let me say. So the rhythm is the thing that's gonna guide you forward. Because once you've established what you like to do, you're going to uncover what your core values are. At the moment, you have no direction because you don't really know what you want. That's what I pick up. But the minute you establish structure, you're going to start resonating, moving, leaning into these things that you love. And this is where the path starts to unfold. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
There is also a lot of information. I said writing. You need to write down. You need to write down your thoughts before you sleep. Flush a radiator, empty your thoughts. You need to put things down. So very simply, what I do every year is I write myself a letter. We're coming up to the end of the year. I write myself a letter. I give thanks to whatever has happened in the past year, but I also give thanks. I pretend it's the end of, like, let's say 2023, and I give thanks to all the things that have happened in 2023. So when 2023 comes, I open the letter and I read it, and almost always what I've planned happens. So I'm saying you need to plant some seeds, you know? So very simply, you can make a short list, 3 things that you want to get done this week, 3 things that you want to get done in the next 3 months, 3 things that you want to get done in the next 3 years. Anything that kind of helps to move you forward. Does that make sense? That's missing. You're so open to anything that drops out of the sky, so you're not actively participating into what you want to create in your life. That's missing. And you feel a bit lost because you're used to being guided, and now you're not getting any guidance because it's you who needs to instigate the guidance. You need to establish the rhythm, do things like what I described, and then more information will come. So you're moving, if you will, from apprenticeship into mastery. So you need to do in order to get a result, not just sit there and wait to be inspired.
Yeah, it's not sitting there. It's kind of believing that the universe is going to make it okay for me and going to guide me.
The universe will not make it okay for you. You will make it okay for you.
But everything. Yes, but things like it. Yes, you're right. Maybe just sitting and, but it's not sitting idly. But I'm just, I'm confident that things will be okay.
I'm not judging you or blaming you. I mean, I don't know what's happening in your life. I'm saying in general, when someone has developed enough, they have to take action into what they want to manifest in their life. You don't wait. Do you understand? The way you will get guidance is by taking an action. You'll get a reaction immediately. And if things go wrong, then okay, that's the wrong path. And you are built that way because you have the 8. You understand? So it's a different level of awareness where you need to participate because you're making your own karma. Okay? The universe will support everything. I mean, anybody. Because it's, the way that the support comes is from thought forms that we project. If they build up, good or bad, then things will happen. But the universe does not distinguish between, oh, this is a good thought, okay, we'll make it happen. This is a bad thought, oh, we're not going to make it happen. It doesn't work that way. It's just energy. So whatever you build too much energy towards will manifest. Does that make sense? Yeah. So there's no right or wrong. Yeah. I told you earlier, what will guide you is your heart. If something feels good, makes me feel energized, gives me a reason to live, then it is the right thing without having any phenomena or whatever. So this is when you've become a master. So I have a feeling like, you're afraid to take the wrong step forward. And I just wanted to say, it's not about that. It's about doing truly what you're engaged in, setting the goal, because energy flows where intention goes. So put few intentions down. Intentions can be, I want clarity on my path. I want to remember my dreams. I had an affirmation, for example, which really works for me. I only react to positive suggestions in my life. I move forward with ease and joy. So if someone invites me to dinner and I don't get ease and joy and I don't get a reaction, I'm like, oh, okay, let me see. I'll check my diary. Then it really means deep down on a soul level, I don't care if I go or not, or this is not an important event in my life. So I decline. Does that make sense? So this can be on a low level or it can be on a high level. Same thing. Somebody wanted to do a partnership, business partnership with me. I didn't react. So put the program in first that I will only react to positive suggestion, On the opposite level, for example, a friend said, let's go to the beach. And I said, yeah, let's do it. And we did it. So I immediately felt good about that and it got done. So this is how we become in charge. So when we go through the heart, okay, I wanted to explain something. When you're developing, the world we exist in is the world of duality. Like imagine you have a pet and you want to train this pet. Whenever they do something right, you reward them, you give them a treat or whatever it is. If they do something wrong, then you lock them in the bathroom for a couple of minutes or whatever it is, right? So through conditioning, you can train them to know what is right, what is wrong, what is good for them, what is not good for them. When we're children, we're trained kind of that way. We live in that world of duality, yes or no. You know, you're in my house, you follow my rules, blah, blah, blah. But then when you grow older and you become an adult, this duality begins to merge again and gives us a lot of power, which is the reason why we feel we are our own person. I want my own boundaries. I'm individuating, and our own true expression begins to come out. Right? So when you're through, you know, same thing when you develop, you don't have that duality. It's not like, oh my God, if I wear a red dress, things will go right, but if I wear a yellow one, it will go wrong. We don't operate on that level, if you like, anymore. So when you go to your heart, by the time you develop the bottom three chakras, if you will, are the personality or the ego, you know, what we are called by our names. But your consciousness doesn't operate like that. So when we begin to move to the heart center, our spiritual consciousness or intangible consciousness comes into play. And the heart always knows the truth because it's got nothing to do with the belief system. So it's got nothing to do with past experiences or whatever it is. You either react in the now, you feel good about something and you do it, or you don't, like we were saying. And if it doesn't feel right, maybe it's not right now. So you sleep on it for a couple of days and then you take an action. So you transcend the world of duality. So there is no, oh my God, if I turn right, it's wrong. If I take a left turn, then it's right. You know what I'm saying? So you're still a bit like that. There is no right or wrong. It's whatever you want it to be, providing you feel good about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Muhammad. Good to see you. Okay, Katie has just sent a message. She has a question. Yeah, Katie, either share it or type it or whatever you're comfortable with. Or say it. Okay.
Oh, sure. Do you need my birth info?
It depends on your question. I don't always need it, but sometimes it helps me kind of look at big trends. But yeah, give me your date and what is your question?
Okay, my birthday's January 29th, 1974.
29/1/1974. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm definitely feel like I'm in a big trend of
welcome to the club. We all are, especially since the last full moon. You know, it's what they call the Lion's Gate. So like the whole of consciousness, everything, the planet, and we are part of the planet. So we are changing, you know, which is why I think it's a good time.
Well, there's just lots of refinements that I'm noticing.
Absolutely. That's excellent.
Very particular people coming and people falling away. And there's a specific friendship that I've had that's been very nurturing, very expanding. She's my astro twin, so we know each other very well.
Okay.
And then I have kind of a confrontational conversation with her because I was hurt by something, just a way that I felt wasn't very caring.
Something she said or did?
Yeah, well, my father passed away and I didn't hear from her at all, and I just was disappointed. So I just told her I was disappointed because I expected some sort of care or support or check-in. And
okay, what did she say?
She said that I'm not the kind of friend that I am.
Okay. Did she validate that? Did she say why?
She just was very kind of like, I mean, I feel like I'm a good friend to you. I've given you lots of connections, which she has. And I said, yeah, that's true. And I said, okay, I guess I just had different expectations of, you know, how you would show up. And that's all. I guess that I just shouldn't have those expectations of you, you know? And she was like,
is she saying that she helps when she can, but she's not so close?
I think I think with the communication was that I needed to really reach out to her and tell her that I needed to be the person reaching out and asking for help in order to get her help. And when I was just so in the grief process, I didn't have that capacity. So I just expected friends to come, because I had a lot of friends that did reach out, but I was just surprised, I guess, that she didn't.
Time
And then
out.
when I told her I was disappointed, I feel like she's really backed off because she's
Okay,
like,
so
well, you told me you're,
let me cut you
yeah.
off. So what's your
Thank
question here? Is it about your
So I
friend?
guess the question is, I'm just curious if this is still a relationship to put any
Okay.
energy into.
No, definitely. But what I get from you and from your
Yeah.
numbers is there's nothing wrong with your girlfriend, with the woman. There's nothing wrong with her. But I think there's lack of clarity as to defining the friendship. You know, what level is it on? Is it acquaintanceship? Is it professional? Is it deeply personal, you know, like your best friend or whatever? And whatever you,
It was all those things. It
because
was all those things.
if
And
it
now it's
were,
not.
if it were, all of those things have got nothing to do when someone close to you dies, then the bare minimum you could do is to give them your condolences. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So the fact that she didn't and you were hurt, it means that prior to that, there was some kind of misclarity or lack of clarity.
Mm.
So I don't think it's to do with your dad passing away that she didn't connect with you, contact you. I think something before has happened
Yeah.
that wasn't clear. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to clarify to your mind, you know, who is she? What does she stand for? And you need to reflect on whatever you did or did not do and maybe correct or modify those actions before you get hurt that she didn't give you her condolences. Something wasn't clear.
Yeah. No, there were two previous times where I felt hurt and let down by her.
Okay.
And I communicated that to her. And I think that was why she started kind of almost like backing off as a friend because she felt like I was just disappointed in her and then she didn't know how to be a friend, even though I told
Okay.
her just to check in.
I don't know. I am not getting anything from her.
Mm.
And what my guides are saying is, again, back to you. You need to clarify your relationship with people. You remember the analogy of driving. I'm not
When you
responsible.
say when you say clarify your relationship, does that mean like have a conversation with
First,
them?
clarify
Say,
with yourself.
okay.
What is my intention with that friendship? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have I done the best that I could? Are there instances or situation when I wasn't too clear or I did not give
Mm-hmm.
when I should have given? Because you see,
Mm-hmm.
with any relationship, it's accumulative. And at
Yeah.
any point, it can go wrong and the whole thing becomes tumbling down.
Yeah.
So we go back to that analogy, you know, it's either your problem or her problem. If it's your problem, then what did I do wrong? What can I do to clarify? And
Mm-hmm.
I think there is lack of clarity. I keep getting that, you know, that there's lack
Mm-hmm.
of clarity, and that's why there's not a clear definition or a clear expectation. For me, if you replace the word expectation with communication, you might get a lot farther. So I would communicate, you know, like, did I do
Mm-hmm.
anything wrong? If people are not getting it, and if she's not responding the way you want to, it means you don't have the same definitions for whatever it is, which is why
Yeah.
you're not on the same wavelength. Yeah. So
Yeah.
worth keeping up with. I'm not getting that this is a serious issue. I see like clouds over my eyes. So basically, you're not seeing maybe things clearly. Maybe you
Mm-hmm.
need to clarify things, calm down, and say, look, I don't want to lose your friendship, but I feel we're not on the same wavelength. You know, did I say, you know, I'd like to have you in my life. I'm sorry if I ignored you when whatever. So like really communicate from the heart and just lay it. If she takes it up, fantastic. If she doesn't respond, give her space. But I don't see it as ending. I don't see it as, you know, dramatically serious. It's just a way to help you clarify. I also feel about you that sometimes you assume or you understand a lot or you assume that others read your mind, but most people are not mind readers. So sometimes I find that I have to spell it out for people
Yeah.
you know.
That's a big lesson that I'm learning because I am so empathic and
And I think
intuitive, and
your brain
I
works.
I need to be very explicit in my communications.
Yeah, and I
I'm
think
learning that for
your
sure.
brain works very quickly. So sometimes we don't communicate so clearly because, you know, like we
Right.
understand it here, but we don't breathe deep, briefly and choose our words to get it out. And that's partly your thing, which you can change. And I think also in terms of awareness, maybe she's not on the same level, so she can't see your perspective.
Yeah.
You need to slow down a little bit and just, you know, out from the heart. happened? I don't want to lose you. Maybe I feel you might have ignored her basically, or something, or she expected you to be there and not be there. I think what she's saying between the lines is that she helped you, but what did you do for her? Something like that. I mean, I don't know, but this is the feeling that I get. So if you clarify that, it would work out. But in general, you need to express yourself better, and you need to approach people. And because she's worth it, she's a good friend, she's positive, I don't get anything negative about her. And it's one of the things that you need to learn, which is to breathe deeply and choose your words so that people really understand what it is that you're after. Don't assume. Especially when you're really perceptive, you assume that what you know, what you feel, other people do, but they don't. So sometimes you really have to come down and like really spell it out in order for them to catch up. And then you'll be talking on the same level. Which is interesting because a lot of my friends, my clients, they have this issue. Like they have a problem with a friend, and the two, including myself, seem to have completely different perspectives. And it's funny, I was just today thinking about that, and thinking that I want to call that friend and say, hey, where did I go wrong? Because it's like been going on, nothing dramatic, but it's been going on, and I feel it's not on the same wavelength, and I have no idea why. So it's interesting that you've asked that. Thank you. Does that help?
It does. Thank you.
Good. And for you, you've started at year of 9. So lots of reading, lots of reflection, lots of giving information as well. Yeah. So, like, don't seclude yourself too much. It's time to go back to act.
Say that again. It's time to what?
To go back, connect with people, interact, so that you know what you know. Yeah. It's almost like a tuning fork. When you've asked, you will know what comes out. But when you
are you still there?
But when you are on your own, you don't know what you need to know. Do you see what I mean? You need to be prompted almost for you to know, okay, that's it. So if you're all alone, you're not prompted, and then everything stagnates and stays the same.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. That feels right on.
Excellent.
Thank
Muhammad,
you.
how are you? My pleasure.
All is well. I was confused with the time zones, so that's why I've entered 30 minutes.
I nearly sent out an email to everyone saying, do you want to do it earlier or later? But since we're on it next month, I think we would still be okay. The clocks would not have changed. Is this time okay, or would you rather start earlier?
For me, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
This is perfect. The 7 o'clock European time is perfect.
Okay. Okay. So we'll keep the same time, which is 9 p.m. Dubai time. Okay, great. Any questions? Mohammed is our youngest member. Very bright young man. So I'm happy you're here. Any questions on your mind? Basma, welcome.
I don't know. These days, I think that I'm reflecting, or no, I'm in this time of being silent more than speaking.
Okay.
That's a thing.
Okay.
So I don't know why. Yeah.
I think if there isn't a problem, then there isn't a problem. Yeah. Sometimes you feel like you want to go into a cocoon. I mean, when I do that, it's because I know that things are changing, and I better wait before I open my mouth for things to settle down. But you get to know yourself. But the important thing is not to avoid getting out there for too long. So long as you're aware of what you're doing and you're not taking it to an extreme, because when we truly disconnect, we lose sight of things, like what is my life about, who's important in my life. So if you stay in your head too long, it's not very healthy. So sometimes you need perspective, but so long as you're enjoying yourself, you're enjoying your own company, it's fine. So if it ain't a problem, if it ain't broken, then don't fix it. Yeah. But if it is broken, then we need to look at it and we need to see why. Does that make sense?
Yes, maybe I think I am waiting for autumn. I like this month, or the season.
You're hibernating.
And yes, and I'm looking forward for a new change with first losing things, then they get there, or
fantastic.
Yes,
I
that's
agree
the
with
thing.
you. I understand that and I relate to it. Sometimes there's nothing to do. Like at the end of the moon cycle, there are a couple of days where they call them void days. So like there's nothing, no energy or don't do anything or don't start anything new. Energy is a cycle. So yeah, sometimes you just have to do things. Sometimes you just have to wait for things to come to you. Sometimes it's just a rest period, where it's just about recollecting yourself before you start again. But if you are asking me if I sense anything wrong or out of place about you, no, I don't. I think you've described it really well. It's just a phase of relaxing because you're about to start a new period of your life. You're about to start university, etc. And I think this is the time to exhale, relax, and prepare for what we are going to become. I have questions that I write down on my desk, and one of them to remind myself that we are forever changing. And I ask myself every day, who am I becoming? Who am I becoming? Who am I becoming? And this is to remind myself that things can change. What I like can change. What I want can change. What I want to create can change. So long as you're open, then you will see the trends and then you will know what to modify, how to modify, and how to drive yourself forward. So stay open. But as I said, so long as it's not negative, you're not aching, hurting anywhere, then yeah, it is just a period of hibernation or regrouping or reassembling. It's almost like when a computer defragments. Sometimes before we move forward, we need to put ourselves back together because these little bits are changing. What I like today, even in food, is so different than what I liked 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So even such personal things can change as we change. And the whole point is the evolution to progress. So stay open to that. But sometimes you need to cocoon. You don't need the influence of the outside world. So long as it's not for too long and you don't get extremely cut off, then that's great. It means you're aware of it, you're aware of your needs, and you're just doing what you need to do. Does that make sense?
Yes, too much.
Good. Besma, I want to hear from you. How are you, if you are here?
Yes, hi, Sahar. I'm here. Yes.
Hi, okay. Okay, you haven't, well, anyway, I'll put the recording up, I guess, and then you can see what you've missed, but I'm so happy you joined. Is everything okay with you?
Alhamdulillah, good. All is well. And I tried to, even if I'm super busy, I made the point to show up because,
Fantastic. I appreciate
to
it.
say hi.
Thank you. Anything I can help you with? Any questions on your mind? Anything you want to share?
I guess since we last spoke and met, I've been going through a lot of changes. So, and it seems like it's changes are like speeding up with time
for everyone. But yes, you're right.
And it's I feel like how do we say it's speeding up, but at the same time a lot of awakenings type of thing, like I'm living on both planes, like
I understand.
The day-to-day, but then another plane, I can't explain, but
no, I completely understand. And you brought up a very interesting point. We were talking kind of a little bit about that too with Mona, that there's a level of mastery and there's a level of apprenticeship, and the energy is changing because it's more, the focus is on us individually to be responsible for what we create in our lives. And to create on that level is a completely different thing of creating on a lower level of awareness. So you're right, there's almost that dual existence. I'm up here, but then I need to come down and do things physically, and then I go up here and reflect. And it seems to be happening at such a fast speed that I find myself changing my mind about a lot of things very quickly. It's like, we're going up there, no, and then come down here, okay, no, I don't really want to do that. And then I go up here again. It is like that. You've hit the nail on the head. It is like that. Because why? Because we're switching between awareness, if you will, and there will be glitches like that until we the whole transition into this I'm going to call it a higher level of awareness.
Yeah. And kind of like, this awareness is basically taking me to the point of, learning how to vibrate at a higher frequency in a way to keep up, you know what I mean? In order not to get entrenched in the old habits.
Okay.
You know,
so how do you cope? What do you do? This is nice. Important.
Gratitude is so important. So important. Every day, gratitude is so important. Like before opening my eyes in my bed.
Excellent.
Just starting that gratitude, and it does like make it makes, because when you're in gratitude, Sahar, and you know that you cannot have negative thoughts when you're in gratitude. You only have positive thoughts and positive energy. So I kind of try to keep to start my day on that level, and start even if I don't have time to meditate, I just do that, which gets me started on the right foot. And it seems things are kind of like folding as soon as I don't let my emotions hijack me, type of thing.
Exactly.
Whatever it is, negative thoughts,
exactly,
anger, whatever. When I become aware of it and I'm able to stop it, because obviously we're human, I'm able to say, okay, I recognize I'm really angry. At the same time, I kind of like look at it as an observer and try, of course, sometimes super hard, but
it is. But you're absolutely right, and this is a very important point. Like literally today, I just finished my book on chakra healing. And the great thing about writing a book is that you reflect on what you know and you understand it in a different way. And it made me think about how we really need to understand as human beings, we have a lot of built-in glitches. So we all have fear. We all have emotions. It just happens. But as you grow older with awareness, then you become aware of those patterns. And the decision that you need to make, as you said, is I choose not to engage with that. And then you rise above it because you understand that this is how the machine operates. But it doesn't mean I am threatened. It doesn't mean I will never make the right decision. It doesn't mean that, I give my power away. So I completely relate. I just want to add that what also became evident to me as I reflect, because now we're halfway in our 30-year celebration. And I'm really reflecting on my life and how everything developed and happened and what does it all mean. And I've realized that every glitch that took place, every drama, trauma, whatever, was absolutely necessary to get me to where I am today. And then I realized, my God, how perfect. I could not have planned it any better. And this is when I began to feel the gratitude. I say this because there's a lot of, I know gratitude is really in and trendy at the moment in one way, but on a deeper level, what you're doing by feeling the gratitude or being grateful is you're acknowledging the relief before something happens. And this is the way of manifesting it. What I'm talking about is you understand all the negativity in the past, and then you love your journey. So instead of rejecting all those bad things that have happened, you're actually accepting them. So it's a different level of existence from the heart. Does that make sense? And once you accept the bits that you've rejected, this is when you truly feel grateful. Grateful to be alive at this point in time, grateful to be living here where I am now, grateful that I have the friends that I have. I mean, I'm talking to all of us. When we begin to feel that, then we begin to see there was nothing personal about the drama and the trauma that I went through. It was all necessary to carve this journey that is my life in order to force me to grow to where I am today. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. And another thing is, I kind of like try to always look at I am not my emotions.
Bravo, exactly.
I am not my emotions. My emotions.
My thoughts. I am not my emotions. That's
exactly.
So important.
So, because as soon as I realize that, then I'm able to control my vibration, and I'm able to control my, to keep up positive, to keep that high vibration. And that is now the exercise I've been doing for the past, I would say, 1 year, because it kind of struck my head, like, and with that, as you said, as soon as you keep your vibration high, Sahar, then
You
you
don't
can
dip.
manifest.
You don't
You
dip.
can
You can manifest and you don't dip down.
exactly. Of course, يعني there are moments, you know, we're human, as I said, but as long as you're aware, you have to snap out of it before you basically, it's like a snowball effect,
A
you know?
hole for yourself. Absolutely correct. Yeah. I just want to say a little thing. I don't like the way the word control, because we
Yeah,
cannot control. But if
you're
we
right.
learn to surf the wave, then we'll get safely to where we want to go. But I like the word in charge of. I am in charge of my mind. I am in charge of my thoughts.
Yeah,
And that's why I almost always tell myself and my clients to always say, when you get a negative feeling or a negative vibe or a negative thought, to say, I am not my emotions, I am not my thoughts, I choose to feel differently, I
yeah,
choose to think differently. And
that,
then you act on it. So I like literally, I say, no, stop it. And I throw that thought away. It's just a thing to remind me it's off. And then I really get up and I do something else. I do whatever. I make a cup of tea. I put music on. You have to interrupt the old pattern like 2 or 3 times, and
yeah,
then it dies. You don't react to it, because emotions are a very high charge. And if
absolutely.
you teach yourself not to charge yourself up negatively, which is why, Mona, we said we need legs to the table so that you stay on top. Otherwise, you'll be spending a lot of energy coming up again and then feeling down again and then coming up again. And this is to tie in with the bit earlier. That's why we need the rhythm, so that life keeps moving forward. So no matter what happens, I go to the movies once a month. I read a new book once a week. You know, there are things that I keep doing no matter what. You know, even when my husband died and my mom died, I needed those things to pick me up. Otherwise, the whole thing would have crumbled down. So this is why rhythm is important, awareness of time is important, awareness of boundaries is important. And this is where we find, or how we find, our coordinates, so that we keep moving no matter what. And then when we have a rest day, like Muhammad is, a cocooning or hibernation period, this is when you reflect and you say, okay, what was that about? What did it show me? And this is when we begin to move into patterns and understanding patterns, which is, by the way, Mona, is the third eye. That's the 6th chakra. When a consciousness is evolved to a certain level, it can begin to see trends. It can understand patterns. It can understand images, which is another reason why working with dreams is very good, because it raises your awareness that you quickly understand things, instead of kind of, having a hard time on a personality level, dealing with it in a world of duality. But if you go on that level, there is no duality here. You can instantly feel happy or feel understanding or feel guided. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So important not to dip down, important to be grateful, important to reflect and understand how everything was necessary to get us to where we are now. Otherwise, we would not have been pushed out of our comfort zone. And sometimes that realization allows you to cope and move forward, in spite of the fact that all of us, most of us right now, may not be getting clear guidance, because it isn't about that. It will be a period of time before things have crystallized. So we all have to put up with it, until the wavelength has been fine-tuned, and then we'll be on that new level, and then we'll find our own tools and ways of how we manage to exist from an awareness point of view. Okay, before we wrap up, any questions, anyone, any feedback? And we'll meet next month on the 28th at the same time, which is 10 p.m. Dubai time. But I will take one question if anyone has it, so that you leave feeling good. No? Satisfied customers?
I'm very happy to see you.
I'm so happy to see you, Basma. It's been too long.
Good. I know it's been too long, and I'm very happy to see you in good spirit, good shape.
Thank you. So good to see you, and I'm so glad you came. And please join us next time. I love what you said, and it helps to kind of say other things as well. So your input is very appreciated. No, really, and it'd be nice to see you.
Okay, حبيبتي. Same here. شكرا.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I'm so grateful. Wish you a very good evening, and I'll see you next month.
Thank you, Sahar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
God bless.
Thank you, dear.
Bye.
I love that you invite